The parade headed by Annus Mirabilis, the Springer in the Market, a horse who was placed in the Irish Derby, the horse who's certain to make running today. How fast will he go? That's the question. He's ridden by Michael Hill's brother Richard. The Springer in the Market from 80 to 1 this morning down to 33 to 1. Behind him in the same Godolphin colours, Classic Cliché, one of the 4 classic winners in the race, the winner of the St. Leger and the Gold Cup. No horse has ever won the Gold Cup and the King George. He's 5 to 1 from 9 to 2. Lusso, number 3, another of the 4 classic winners in the race. He won the Italian Derby last year. He's won the Earl of Sefton Stakes this year, and most recently was second in the Gran Premio di Milano. He was to be ridden by Olivier Pellier. He's now ridden by John Reed. Olivier is injured. Behind him, the one Irish challenger in the race. In the sash, number 4, Oscar Schindler, winner of the Ormond Stakes and the Hardwick Stakes at the Royal Meeting here. He races in the colours of Mr. Oliver Lehan. He's the mount of Ireland's Richard Hughes. Last year's runner-up, Pentire. That was his only defeat in 1995. This season, he's only run twice in Dubai and in the Eclipse. How much has he improved from 3 to 4? And is he at the peak of his powers? His stable hasn't been in terrific form recently. The 3rd horse last year, Strategic Choice, winner of the Irish St. Leger. He races in the colours of Martin Habib, trained by Paul Cole, the 1 5-year-old in the race, and he's in terrific condition. The dark horse of the race is Henry Settle's runner in the colours of Farazan. Farazan, the one non-group winner in the race. Could he pull off a surprise at 12 to 1? And finally, the Derby winner. It's only the 4th run of his life, but Derby winners have a great record in this race, and as we heard William Haggis saying, he's entirely satisfied with this horse's condition. He certainly looks in terrific shape. And the betting on the King George. Charmit, firm favourite at 2 to 1. Pentire, 3 to 1 second best. Classic Cliché is a 5 to 1 shot. 7 to 1 Strategic Choice. 9 to 1 Oscar Schindler. 12 to 1 Lusso and Farazan. And 33 to 1 Annus Mirabilis. Classic Cliché on his way to post. The 3.5 length winner of last autumn's St. Leger and a majestic winner of the Ascot Gold Cup.
Round the home turn, and it's Double Trigger the leader, with Classic Cliché the challenger towards the stand side. Letard between horses, and it's Double Trigger being pressed now by Classic Cliché. Double Trigger pulling it out now with his white face over on the far side. Classic Cliché on the near side. They're coming to the furlong pole. There's little between them. Double Trigger on the far side. Classic Cliché on the near side. Classic Cliché beginning to wear him down. It's going to be another for Mick Cannan. Classic Cliché wins the Gold Cup. Classic Cliché the winner. Double Trigger is second, and Nonanito for France is third.
Joining us is Frankie Dettori, who would have ridden this horse, but for his broken elbow. Frankie, you're watching the race from the stands today. Is he going to win this horse?
Well, I think he's got it all to do, but, you know, I have no doubt that he'll do his best work at the end. He liked the course because he's been here before. And, I mean, he's a question mark if he's going to turn a foot of Charmit and Pentire. But if the race is run to a strong pace, I think he'll be there with a chance at the end.
If you weren't obliged to ride this horse, what would you most like to ride in the race?
Well, actually, now I come back from the paddock. I think Shamik looks fantastic. I think it'd be a great battle between Shamik and Pentire, and perhaps a classic cliche taking the third spot.
It was a wonderful race last year. You'll be watching it from the stands today. How will you feel when you watch it?
Well, it's a little bit frustrating, I must say. It's one of the greatest events of English racing, the King George, and it's a shame that I can't be out there and try to win it. But you know, hopefully I'll be back within the next month, and there's always another King George around the corner, perhaps next year. But I've been watching this race with great interest. Annus Mirabilis too. I think 80 to 1 is much overpriced, and obviously Classic Cliche my intended mount. But I think we got a great contest.
Right, well, stay with us, but let's go back to the horses now. The horses down at the start, and Oscar Schindler here, the hope of Ireland, the giant Irish colt who showed quality and courage when he won the Hardwick Stakes at the Royal Meeting.
Here comes Oscar Schindler for Ireland on the right of the picture now, coming to challenge Annus Mirabilis. It's Annus Mirabilis, the leader, from Oscar Schindler. Annus Mirabilis over on the far side. John Carroll from Oscar Schindler and Mick Kinnan. Oscar Schindler and Annus Mirabilis in a terrific battle now in the closing stages. It's just Oscar Schindler on the near side, getting the better of Annus Mirabilis. It's Oscar Schindler from Annus Mirabilis fighting back, but Oscar Schindler wins it from Annus Mirabilis. Posidonus was third, just ahead of Leo White.
Unbeaten this season, the biggest horse in the race, the hope of Ireland. Jimmy, has he got a chance?
I would give him a chance, Julian, yes. He's a battler, he'll get every inch of the mile and a half, and I don't think they'd have sent him over if they didn't think he was going to run a big race. And the one thing with him, he's 9 to 1 from 8 to 1 at the moment. He's unbeaten, which is a good thought to go into a race with a nice, clean mind.
Well, the older horses, of course, the weight for age scale demands that they concede £12 to the 3-year-olds. This is the 1 5-year-old in the race, Strategic Choice, who finished third in the race last year. And he won a Group 1 race in Italy last month, the Gran Premio di Milano, where he beat Deluso. Frankie, how good was that form?
I must say, Strategic Choice is one of our consistent horses in Britain. He ran a great race in Italy, beat Luso. And for sure the mile in 6 at York was always been a little bit too far for him, and the mile and a half should suit him better. He ran a great race last year, if you can remember, was only a length behind Lamtara, and he particularly likes this course too, so you know, he's not ruled out either.
Well, the horse that he beat in the Gran Premio di Milano was number 3 Luso, and of course he's been a most consistent horse. Clive Britton felt that he was unlucky that day because he'd been bitten by mosquitoes. Do you have a lot of them in Italy?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, not usually, but I mean, if that is the case, you know, could have a little effect on the result.
There might be a question mark against his stay. Now, Pentire here. And as I was saying, the weight for age scale demands that a 4-year-old concede £12 to a 3-year-old. The theory is that a racehorse reaches full maturity as a 4-year-old. But, Jimmy, do you feel that a horse like Pentire will have improved by that amount, £12?
Well, he could have done, Julian. The tricky thing with Pentire is Michael Hell's the way he's got to ride him, really, because he's got to be held up if he gets there just at inches too soon, as we saw with Frankie and Lamtire last year. Well, he just runs out of a little bit of puff. Charmit
2 to 1 favourites, 3 to 1 Pentire, 5 to 1 Classic Cliche. He's going to be the last to be installed. Let's join Peter O'Sullivan for the 1996 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes.
Just Classic Cliche to join the other 7 for this 46th running of the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes. Hooded for stalls entry. Not being very cooperative at the moment. This third favourite, Classic Cliche, is being turned. Winner of his only 2 races this year, including the Ascot Gold Cup. And that's it. They're all in. Under orders. And they're away. Annus Mirabilis the first to show, and Pentire slowly away. He's Way last of the 8th as Annus Mirabilis makes it from Strategic Choice. Then comes Classic Cliché and Lusso. Behind Lusso is Oscar Schindler. Farasan. Charmit is one from last, and last is Pentire and Annus Mirabilis blazing the trail from Strategic Choice. Then comes Lusso and Oscar Schindler. Just in behind them, Farasan, beginning a right-hand swing now and just coming up towards the mile pole in the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes, and as they do so, it's Annus Mirabilis by about 2 lengths from Strategic Choice. Then Oscar Schindler on the inside. Lusso comes next, very close to him. Classic Cliché right up with them. Just behind them, Farasan. Pentire is still the back marker, and still one from last is the Derby winner, Charmit. Annus Mirabilis blazing a very fast trail by 2 lengths from Strategic Choice. Classic Cliché is a clear third now ahead of Oscar Schindler and Lusso and Farasan. Then come Charmit and Pentire. They're past the 6th pole, racing towards the 5, and Annus Mirabilis, who's made all the running so far by 2 lengths from Strategic Choice. Then Classic Cliché, then Oscar Schindler, Lusso, Farasan, and a little gap then to Charmit, and behind Charmit is Pentire. And they're coming to the half-mile pole now, and as they do so, it's still Annus Mirabilis, the leader, by 2 lengths from Strategic Choice. Then Classic Cliché, then Oscar Schindler and Lusso and Farasan on the outside. Charmit getting a little bit closer. Pentire also chasing him, but they're almost into the home turn now, and it's still Annus Mirabilis, the leader, as they swing for home. It's Annus Mirabilis, the rider with the white cap. The challenger on the outside is Classic Cliché. Between horses is Strategic Choice. Then comes Charmit making a run with Pentire, but Classic Cliché has gone for home. They're racing towards the furlong pole now, and it's Classic Cliché being challenged by Pentire on the near side, and Charmit, the Derby winner, on the far side. It's Pentire, last year's second, has taken it up now. He's got 2 lengths clear. He's going to win the 1996 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes. Pentire has won it this time. Classic Cliché is just second ahead of Charmit, with Oscar Schindler a distant 4th. Then Annus Mirabilis and Farasan and Lusso, and last with Strategic Choice. And so the result of the 1996 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes. First, number 5, Pentire, owned by Mollis Racing, trained by Jeff Ragg, and ridden by Michael Hills at his 4th attempt. He was beaten a neck last year. Second was number 2, Classic Cliché, owned by Godolphin Racing, trained by Saeed bin Surur, and ridden by Mick Kinnan. With third, the Derby winner, number 8, Charmit, owned by Mr. Khalifa Dasmal, trained by Willie Haggis, and ridden by Pat Eddery. With fourth, Ireland's Hope, Oscar Schindler. Congratulations there from Richard Hills to his twin brother Michael, as Michael returns to the winner's circle on this son of Be My Guest out of Galnook, who has won the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes in tremendous style.
Well, what an explosive race. They went a terrific gallop. Pentire walked out of the stalls. He was last, just turning round into the straight, but he produced that terrific acceleration on the outside. Charmit today didn't pick up the way that he did in the Derby. He worked his way into third place. Classic Cliché kicked for home early in the straight. Looked for a moment or so he might pull it off, but he didn't have the acceleration, the ability to quicken that Pentire did, who's looked a brilliant horse today. Classic Cliché runs on to hold on to second place. Charmit, the Derby winner, is third, without ever really looking like winning. We've seen 3 top-class horses today.
So, Pentire's proud lad, Sean McGee, who has looked after 14 members, no less, of the Busted family that carried the colours of the Moller family, leads in Pentire, who's redeemed last year's runner-up slot so triumphantly. A steward's inquiry has been announced, but neither the first, second or third are involved in that. So Michael Hills, 33 years old, dismounts from his 4th ride, and Jeff Ragg there in the Trilby greets his 2nd victor of this great prize, having won it in 1984 with Ginoso. Michael remarkably cool, having started very tardily, whether by accident or design, taken it up with beautiful timing and acknowledged his triumph inside the last furlong, where he'd sprinted into an unassailable lead. Tremendous moment for his young rider. The starting prices as follows.
First, number 5, Pentire, 100 to 30. Second, number 2, Classic Cliché, 5 to 1. Third, number 8, Charmit, 2 to 1 favourite. And don't forget there's a steward's inquiry, but it doesn't involve the winner.
Race best is Kingston.
Well, there is a steward's inquiry. We understand that it doesn't concern the winner, but we can look at the head-on picture now and see where any interference may have occurred. On the inside, as you can see, they're racing pretty tight there, but Pentire's come wide, is clear of the trouble. Here, there's a little bit of a skirmish there as Oscar Schindler bursts his way through on the inside of Strategic Choice. Classic Cliché has hit the front here under a left-hand drive from Michael Kinane. Pad Edry has switched to the inside on Charmit, but Pentire is clear of any trouble that there is. And although Pentire drifts to the right in the closing stages, he certainly looks to be a length and a half clear when he does so. Frankie, can you see anything there?
I think we want to go back to the furlong and a half when Oscar Schindler tried to come through that gap with a Strategic Choice and Annus Mirabilis. But I hope they bring Lamtara back. I mean, what a great performance by Pentire. I mean, I spoiled him from winning it last year, but it shows exactly how good it is.
Well, Jonathan Powell's down there in the unsaddling enclosure, and we're going to join him.
Yes, Jeff, second time lucky. This horse seemed a bit unlucky last year, but my goodness, he put it right today.
He did, didn't he? Had a bit of a worry at the start, though.
It was just like a parody of that cigar advertisement. He just seemed to stumble out of the stalls and gave them, what, 6 or 8 lengths?
He did. I mean, Marcus said it. He was sort of half asleep, you know, and he had to give him about 4 or 5 when he jumped off, you know.
He's too good. Perhaps it helped that the gallop was so fierce that it helped the stayers like Pentire, and that he was able to work his way back into the race.
Exactly, yes. I don't know what the time was. Anybody got it?
No,
race record.
not yet.
What? Race record.
That's it?
Race record. Well, last year Michael hit the front, 2 furlongs out. This time, as he came up the challenge, you could see him almost say, hang on, I'm not going to go to the front too soon this time.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
This was the plan. I mean, could you really believe that he'd go away and win quite as impressively as that?
Well, I was a little bit hesitant about, you know, the weight with the 3-year-olds, but he really did it well today. Very good.
He's a very serious horse. Just remind us about this legacy that the Mullers have left in their name, the business of leaving some money to buy horses to race in their memory.
That's right, yes. Well, basically left money in trust and reaping the benefit.
But everyone that you and John Ferguson buy seems to be better than the last. The pot must be getting bigger and bigger. You'll have horses to train for years at this rate.
I don't know. That's very nice.
Now, looking to the autumn, you've already taken this horse to Dubai, and he ran best of the European horses in the Dubai World Cup.
Yeah.
Is the Breeders' Cup a serious possibility?
Yes, the Breeders' Cup and the Arc possibly, although the Arc usually is pretty soft ground. But I think we're sort of going to concentrate now on the Breeders.
And then
Breeders and probably a Japan Cup, I don't know.
And then possibly to stud?
Possibly.
Well,
I would think so.
Well, you've got a nice few races to dream about in the autumn.
Thank you very much.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Well, it was so close last year for Michael Hills, but he's pulled it off today, and what a win. Michael, many, many congratulations. No Frankie to worry about this time.
Exactly, yeah. He frightens me with his ties.
Now, the worst point of the race for you seemed to be the start. He seemed to walk out of the stalls, your horse.
As he counted down the start, he's got older and he's got a little bit playful, and he went to plant and he knuckled over on his joint, and he stood in the stalls and he was not thinking about the race at all. He was probably thinking about his foot, and yeah, he wouldn't pick his bridle up at all. So once he got on his feet and out to sit, you know, I was where I was then. You know, there was no thing then.
But the other end, things went really smoothly. You've cruised into the lead.
Oh, from the road down the back straight, I come so strong on the bridle. And I was following Charmit. Nothing else was going well in the race. And I was cantering, really, and I just thought, I hope Charmit give me the lead I wanted. I really come good, though, you know what I mean? You don't often come around the turn here like that.
It was rather like the Derby, really, going the other way round for you, wasn't it? You've got there so quickly.
I did. He's got a big turn of foot. He always has had, and when he gets a good gallop, he's a very good horse.
Did you have any worries before the race? His final work didn't sound as though it had been spectacular.
No, because, you know, he's got older and wiser, and he knows that when he gets 20,000 people shouting at him, he's a bit different. You know, it wakes him up on the racecourse. Yeah. His work was good. It wasn't bad. It was just good, but it wasn't sparkling. You know, it wasn't saying, oh, they win the King George. It was just good, solid work. So, obviously, there was a doubt there, but he never did it last year, really. He might have done it once, you know.
Yeah. We'll bring Frankie in here. Frankie, have you got a horse you can beat him with this year?
Well, I must say, Michael's greatest achievement won the Derby on Charmit, the King George of Pentire. Is still the art to come. Perhaps he'll find another one. I'll be quite happy with any of his leftovers, but it's a great effort, and like just shows you how good Pentire is. If perhaps it's a case then Charmit perhaps didn't get on the last furlong, but full credit to Pentire, gave him 8 lengths start at the beginning and won by 2 lengths. So it was a great performance.
Yeah. Well, many congratulations, Michael. It's a great year for you. Only one to go now. The Arc.
The Arc. I mean, well, they've got Sussex next week. That's quite a sign.
Yeah, well, that'll do. You're right. First Island.
First Island, and he's working well at home. And you know, there's loads more meetings and big races to win. I've got to catch him up.
You're making headway. Many congratulations.
Thank you very much.